how to create a gradient pattern design. This is a continuation of an earlier video. I'm using Photoshop CC220. View menu and snap is on. Make sure you've got guides, etc. with the snap to. Then new guide layout. Go for 10 and 10. Click OK. Then go to the pen tool. Make certain the top left is set to shape and the fill, set that to a gradient option, and then go to select one of the basic gradients. Up to you, of course, which gradient you use. You can also set it to linear and 90 degrees. You don't have to use those. You could use any gradients, of course. You could, of course, use radial, etc. Once you've done that with the pen tool selected, go to that intersection of the guides and then go down there, another intersection there. And you can see you've got a 4 by 1 cell diamond, and then clear the guides. You don't need that, and that's via the view menu. And then go to view menu and new guides from shape. That will add guides that define the shape. Then go to the rectangular marquee tool and then just drag across it and select the area. Now it might skip slightly to the side. Obviously just do it. Try and make certain you've got it exactly as is. Then go to the layers panel and just delete the background. Now you can alter this diamond design at any point if you wish. But what I'm going to do, you could define it as a brush preset, but you can also define it as a pattern via the edit menu. So edit menu, define pattern. And of course you can add things to it. You don't have to keep it as is. So you can quickly go and add maybe an ellipse, and that will be filled with a gradient as well. So you could do that. Now if you can go and define that now, edit menu and define pattern. And that will have that circular or elliptical region there in it as well. And of course you can go modify, maybe change it to radial. So you can see now you've got a radial gradient, and you can then define that as a pattern. Now if you want to change the contents, best way to do it, layer menu, and then you can go to layer content options, and then you maybe go for set the reverse to be on, and then maybe just shift slightly to the side so you get the highlight there. It's up to you. You can do that. You can do maybe other things with that gradient design. Click OK, and then you can define that as a pattern via the edit menu. So a variety of different designs can be created. Maybe you could create a diamond on top of each other. So you can make 3 or 4 different diamond designs on top of each other. It's another option. So you've got them defined there as in the patterns. So window menu and patterns, and the layers panel is quite useful as well via the window menu. Now you don't need that design anymore. So history panel, just want that as well. Very useful because I can just go back to the start. So complete fresh document, and then once you've done that, edit menu and fill. But before that, if you want, you can always go for a layer. So create a new layer. Always handy to have it on a layer because you can always then remove it, and also you can duplicate layers. Very useful. So edit menu and fill, and go for the pattern option. Set the custom pattern to one of the ones you just created, maybe the last one. And you can vary it. Set the script on, and there's a variety of different ones. So there's random fill, but there's also symmetry, cross weave, whole variety of ones. I'm going to go for random fill initially, just to quickly show you random fill. So you can create some really, really nice designs simply by using that. And in this case, I've got density set to 10. You can change the scale factor. You can also change the randomization. So if you just want it to be as is, 0 and 0, then you can vary the scale factors. You can also rotate the pattern or not. That randomizes it. So the rotate pattern, if you turn it off, will all be straight as defined. And again, you can vary the scale factor, push it up to the max, or go the other way. And that will be, once you click OK, all applied to that layer. And of course, then we can do, you might wish to apply it a couple of times to the same layer, but you can also maybe combine different layers. So create it again and again with different layers, blending modes. So you can apply it like that to build it up even greater. You can go back to the start, maybe keep the layer, and in Edit menu and Fill, maybe select a different pattern, and Fill. You can see the design there. Creates a nice sort of textured design. Unfortunately, the preview never really matches the end result. I mean, it does, but the size is always slightly skew. So Edit menu and Fill. This time I'm going to go with the Symmetry Fill, but you could go with Spiral. And there's a variety of different, there's about 32 different options in the Symmetry Fill. So you could try out all those. But I'm just going to go with the 7 type. And you can change the height and width, and it will vary the end result. And you also change the scale. And you can push it up to the max. But if you create it fairly low, when you create it, it will be created within those confines of the document. But it's never so easy to see it when it's really tiny. So it's easy to work with pattern scale set to the max. And again, you can vary the randomness. I've got it 1 at the moment. You can see just by changing the width and height, you can create a variety of different designs. Go the other way, create that design, a much darker design. Or you can set it in the center. And then click OK. Now you could use selections with this as well. So it would only be just created within the confines of the selection. Edit menu and Fill. Again, make certain everything's on using the same pattern. Click OK. And you can vary the scale. To be honest, I hadn't intended to use that scale, the earlier size, but I did. I forgot. So I wanted it created there. So it's within that confines. Again, slightly wrong. So it's never a perfect science because the preview does not match really nicely because obviously it's very hard to determine. So just a bit, nudge it a bit lower and then it will be created within the document. And there it is. Once you've done that, of course, it's on a layer. So you can apply effects to it, adjustments to it. Hold down the Alter Option key and drag and duplicate it multiple times just to fill the entire screen. Maybe resize it, rotate it. Apply effects. A variety of different things, but you can also do many other things. Maybe apply a style to it. Also, what you can do, you can go to the Elliptical Marquee tool, just define an area there. And with that selection, then run it. Sadly, there's no repeat fill. I really would love that command. A repeat fill command would be very useful. So you can change the pattern if you wish. Again, symmetry. Click OK. And you can see that design there now. Click OK again. And this time it will be created within confines of that selection. And it's on a layer. So again, you can then duplicate that layer. Or if you decide, I don't want that selection, maybe make it small. Now you don't even have to use a circle. I mean, you could use a square, rectangle, use a very irregular selection. Up to you. I'm just using a circle. And you can vary the pattern to be used. Click OK. And of course you could vary the scale. You could push the scale up to the max now. It's up to you. And also you vary the other settings if you wish. Click OK. And then you've got your design there. You don't need the selection now. Just go to Select menu and deselect. I always like to turn my layers into smart objects. Smart objects are a really, really useful feature of Photoshop. So go Layer menu, Smart Object, convert to a smart object. And what you do, you can go and add some layer styles to it. Bevel and emboss. A variety of styles can be added, drop shadows, gradients, colour, etc. Once you're happy with your settings, you can always click OK. As the layer is a smart object, you can apply smart filters. They can be changed at any point or removed at any point. So go over to the filter menu, stylize and oil paint. Or maybe one of the other filters as well. Click OK. I'm always saying click OK. You could also press return. Photoshop is just full of clicking OK or cancel. Once you've done that, you can also go to the adjustment menu. That's image menu and adjustments. Maybe use color lookup or one of the others and apply a variety of different color lookups. Go for sepia, blue tone, etc. Experiment with the color settings. Of course, you can also create your own color lookups as well. Use those. I'm going to go with blue tone. Once you've done that, press return or click OK. Once you've done that, you can duplicate the design. Hold down the Alter Option key and simply drag the smart object to create multiple copies. Of course, there's thousands of other things you can do with these designs. Hope you found this of interest. Please subscribe to the Graphic Extra channel, always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Affinity Designer, Illustrator, Affinity Photo and many, many others. Please add some comments, always appreciated. A dislike or like. Thank you much.